Guys, look! I have friends! They might not be human, but like this is the start, right? Hey guys! I've tried to film this video 3 times. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about why I use Dr Bronner Castile soap to wash my face. When I posted the video on how I cleared my skin, telling you how I cleared my acne, I explained that I was using Castile soap as a cleanser. And a lot of people had questions about that because this does go against a lot of the stuff I talk about. Mainly because of the pH balance of this product and your skin. So I wanted to break down the science and the story of why I've been using this, why it might be potentially working, and if this is going to work in the long run, what it means and what's actually going on. So in order to start doing that, we need to talk about pH. We've spoken about it a ton of times before, but pH is a scientific term that stands for potential hydrogen, which measures how acidic or how basic a certain product is. Now, at the top of the scale is really basic, like a 14, which could be bleach, and at the bottom is a 1, which is battery acid. Something neutral is water, which is around a 7, and our skin likes to be at around 5.5. So a little bit more on the acidic side, but not super acidic. Now, when it comes to pH testing, you can get pH testing strips or kits at stores, you can get them online, you can borrow them from the science lab at school, and for me, I tested the pH of my skin. Now, what's interesting is that my skin didn't come back as a normal 5.5. My skin was pushing a 3.5 and a 4. That is super acidic, and it's borderline lemon juice. So that means that something was going on in which my skin was extraordinarily off. What could be causing that? Could have been diet back then, it could have been a whole bunch of different things, and even your environment. It was about a year ago that I had tested and gotten those results. And at that time I was using a lot of perfumes, I was burning candles in my house, I was driving long distances, and there's a lot of environmental pollutants from your pillowcase that has flame retardants, from perfumes, from the environment that can add to your skin and not only cause damage, but can change the pH of your skin. So my educated assumption is that that is what was happening, although I'm not completely sure. So now what's interesting is that Dr Bronner Castile soap comes in at a pH of 8. That is extremely basic, and it's kind of counterintuitive because you would think that you want to use a product that's around a 5.5, which is what your skin wants, or around a 7, so you can kind of bring it back into balance. But this is all the way as an 8. And the reason I started using this is because I had gotten an ear piercing that I was constantly trying to clean, and I had been using Castile soap to clean it forever. And I ran out of my facial cleanser, and I was like, I need to remove my makeup with something, and so I used Castile soap. And my skin ended up really liking it, and it ended up to start working. Now, what is interesting about Castile soap versus other soaps and cleansers is also something that might be why this is working so well for me. So most cleansers have sulfates in them, and sulfates are petroleum-derived chemicals that are meant to cleanse the skin. Now, what's interesting is that yes, they kind of strip away things on the outsides, and a lot of them are foaming, but they don't do a very good job of breaking down particles. And when you think about it, if we have makeup or things on our face, it's not just sitting on the top of our skin, it's actually getting into our pores. Now, what's interesting about Castile soap is that this is basically saponified vegetable oils. This one happens to be hemp. The other one that I've used before was coconut, and I've used tea tree, etc. This one has tea tree in it as well. And this saponified vegetable oil is natural. And what's different about it is that the way that the bonds are set up, it actually attaches to molecules of dirt and chemicals that are in your makeup and actually breaks them down. Whereas a regular cleanser doesn't have that same kind of chemical reaction, usually. When it's a regular cleanser that just has a lot of these sulfates, it really just kind of washes the skin on a surface level. And I'm telling you, like, this stuff will break down mascara that's waterproof, it'll break down long-wearing lipstick, the thickest, heaviest coverage of foundation, this will break it down, which is very, very interesting. Now, something else I do have to preface with is that I do not wash my skin traditionally anymore. I only wash my skin once a day, not twice a day. And when I do, I only leave this product on for less than 60 seconds. Normally, I'm cleansing for about 30 to 60 seconds, really just to break down that makeup, and then I remove this fully. And I think that that's important because if I were to leave this on my skin, like I have other cleansers and acne cleansers in the past and kind of like not wash it off completely, I do believe that this would cause a lot of drying. I do believe that this would cause a lot of irritation. And in the long run, that would probably really mess up my skin and probably cause a lot of dryness. But again, I'm using this once a day. I'm using it less than 60 seconds. And when I'm done, I am completely removing it, making sure that it is not left on my skin, that it has broken down all that makeup. And then I'm actually using an acid. So what's interesting about that is that in hair care, cosmetologists who do dyes and colorings on people use acids and bases to dye hair. And a lot of times what the professionals do is use a very basic product to open up the hair cuticle. They add the dye or the color, and then they use an acidic product to kind of close that cuticle and smooth it out so that the dye stays in the hair. What's interesting is that this is very basic, so maybe it's opening something up. And then what I'm using afterwards is an acid, which is usually the Pixie Beauty or a Juice Beauty toner, which have natural fruit acids and glycolic acids in them, which again have been really great for my acne and can also be good for scarring and hyperpigmentation or people who deal with pigment issues. Now, what's interesting about that is that I know that the skin is very different from the hair, but we have a friend. But both skin and hair is made up of keratin, dead keratin. And so I wonder if there is some sort of similar correlation to this idea of using a basic product to kind of open things up and then an acid to bring things back into a healthy balance, which again is just a speculation, but that could be what's happening. What's interesting is that recently I tested my skin, and by the time I'm done with my skincare routine, which I only do once a day, my skin does come back at around a 5 and a 6. So it comes right in that normal level of where my skin should naturally be. So it's very interesting that using a basic product with these acidic products is actually seemingly working for me. Now that being said, I have only been doing this I've only been using this product since about April. And there are different ones from Dr. Bronner's that I have used. This is personally my favorite. This one is a hemp based and it has tea tree oil, which is antibacterial and antimicrobial and known to help with acne. There was another one that I used that had coconut oil. I liked it. It didn't seem to break me out. Now what's interesting about that is that I've spoken a lot about different oils and different skincare products and why some oils can break you out and others won't. Coconut oil is one that I have not personally tested like pure on my face, but looking at the molecular structure, it looks like something that would break you out. So I, in the past, have not recommended coconut oil because of those inferences that I'm making. So it's probably something I'll have to test in the future because I don't know for sure. But why was I using a Dr. Bronner's product that had coconut oil? Again, this is a saponified oil, which is Castile soap, and I was using it to really remove that makeup, and then I'm removing the product completely. So that coconut oil or this saponified soap is not drying out my skin, and that oil is not soaking into my skin. And would it be different if it was? Very possibly. But I just kind of wanted to put that out there because in the past I have not recommended coconut oil, even though it's like a huge trend right now. And for people with acne-prone skin, if you want me to do a deep dive or even test it out personally along with looking at research-based science, let me know because it is an oil that's very trendy right now that a lot of people are using, and I want to make sure that it's helping people, not destroying their skin, and I want to understand the science behind it too. So that being said, is this a good idea for everyone to start trying? Is this a cleanser that's going to work for so many people's skin? I do not know for sure. I also don't know if this is going to work for my skin in the long run. It's working for me now, but will it work down the line as it becomes winter and fall and the leaves fall and it gets cold? Is my skin going to change and this won't work? Over years of use, will this actually destroy my skin? I spoke to Lexi, she is a phenomenal esthetician at Changes Day Spa in Walnut Creek. And she's had 10 years of aesthetic practice, if not more. And we spoke a little bit about Dr. Bronner's, and I said, why is this working for me? Because it is counterintuitive, because it does have such a high base level. And she said, you know, maybe it really is breaking down that makeup inside the pore that other surface cleansers are not, which is really beneficial to you because so much of my acne is aggravated by makeup or by irritants and dirt and stuff that's stuck in my skin. But she also begged the question, like, in the long run, is this really going to be good for your skin? You might want to use something that's less basic, more acidic. So that being said, I don't know if this is for everyone. I don't know if this is going to work for me in the long run. But at this time, my skin does seem to be loving it. It's not drying me out. It's got tea tree oil in it, which I know is good for acne and good for my acne and antifungal. And on top of that, it is breaking down my makeup, which a lot of other cleansers that I've spent hundreds of dollars on weren't actually doing. So it is very interesting, but I just wanted to share that and clear up the questions. So when it comes to it, I do only wash my skin once a day. If you guys want a skincare routine where I actually take you through what I do in the morning and what I do in the evening and kind of how I balance that, you know, because most blogs and articles articles and even doctors will tell you wash your skin twice a day. I don't do it, and I notice differences in my skin and in my acne. Let me know if you'd like a video on that. And if you have any other requests or any experiences with coconut oil or any of that fun stuff, be sure to post a comment, because sharing is caring, and we're all here to learn and grow and find beauty in our own unique ways. So remember that you are what puts the you in beautiful. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to let me know. Thank you for hanging out here in the woods with me in my little happy place, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.